None of these garage car entry metal overhead doors have handles on the exterior sides. This one is to the guest house and it's facing east. We're facing west. And on the bottom panels right there, we've got some hail damage. And coming over here, this is the house. Now we're facing west and these doors are facing east. And like the detached garage, the vertical wood casement should not be in direct contact with the ceiling. Okay? It should be cut so that it doesn't allow water to wick up. We got a little bit of separation between the casement and the brickwork. We do not have weep holes over any of the garage. The lintel is bowing here. It's pretty common. We got some stair-step cracks between the brick and mortar. This is the larger garage, so this is the north garage. And then coming along here, and then over here where the lintel is, we got some stair-step and vertical cracks around the lintel, going up through the soldier bricks. And then this door, like the other garage door, but this one's worse, but we've got hail damage on the bottom two panels of these doors. Trees should not be placed closer than 25 feet to a structure. We've got wood mulch, which is conducive by design. Lawn sprinkler heads should not be closer to the structure than 12 inches. Coming along here, this is a recent installation on this roof. Coming along here, the rain gutter was not replaced at the same time as the roof covering, so it's going to age at a different rate. This is the garage south window. That's me. Hello. Okay. Moving on along here, where the wall and the roof line meet down at these corners, kick-out flashing should have been installed to divert water away from the wall so that it doesn't fall down like that. Trees too close. This is the faucet where I took the water pressure from. It's 100 pounds per square inch PSI. The maximum is 80 by code. No window screens again. Again, all the brickwork looks pretty good here. Coming over here, this is the front portico. So that's the northeast corner of the front portico. The kick-out flashing should have been installed right there. Now if we look up here, let's see if I can get a better spot. Maybe. Okay, let's try this one. Right there, you have the shingles, you have that little piece of metal flashing, that's rake edge flashing, sometimes this drip edge, this is rake edge flashing, and then you have the fascia board that's right beneath it. And where this flashing, this metal flashing that goes between the shingles and the wood, right there, it's supposed to lap a minimum of 10 inches. That one looks like it's lapped about 2 inches. And there's some other ones that I've been noticing around here, but it's very rare that you see this flashing properly lapped. The statistical relevance is probably pretty much diminished. But that being said, no, it was not done right. So we're coming along, and this front door that this gentleman needs some help with, it's very hard to push that button. I actually went in through the back door because I thought I couldn't unlock it. Now, once I got the hang of it, it got better, but that's the way it works. So this is the arch, the semicircular arch over the light. The light was, I'm trying to remember what the name of that particular light is. The window to some people. Anyway, it'll be on the report. But we got some cracking right here on the brickwork at the top of that arch. Again, we kind of expect to find it there. It's not a big mystery. I mean, so far we haven't found a lot of cracking, by the way, on either structure. We got some surface drains, and in fact that was actually that's a French drain. I actually got a French drain, and then we got some other surface drains around. Coming over here, this is a water heater. Unlike the guest quarters, but this water heater drain line is higher from the ground than 6 inches. It terminates higher than 6 inches. Code says it's supposed to be between 6 and 3 inches to the ground. Still haven't found any screens. Coming on along. Moving inside of here, it's all the same things that I've been talking about before. We got some rain gutters that are clogged right up there. The chimneys, we have 2 chimneys on this structure, and both of the chimneys have a stucco or a faux stucco, maybe an ephes clad siding. Coming along here, rain gutters are discharging above grade. This is called a parge coat. Okay, they've gone in and they've smeared a parge coat. It's like a cake frosting around the house that limits some observations. It's decorative. That's the only thing that is decorative. And but there it is for all of us to see. Right here, some home inspectors call these corner pops. All right, call them what you will. They're shrinkage cracks. If they're closer to the corner than 6 inches and they're going diagonal in, that's not a foundation issue. That is not a foundation issue. If it's large enough, it might be a brick issue. You might want to fix it so that it's holding up some bricks, but that has nothing to do. There's other signs of foundation issue, and that's not one of them. I'm coming over here. This condensing unit right here, this is a newer unit. We've got anti-theft Schrader valves. Those are refrigerant service valves on this guy. And I think he's like 1 year old. Let me say, yes, he's 1 year old. It's R22. This refrigerant line right here, this insulation on the refrigerant line, that's old school. That should have been replaced. That should have been a hard refrigerant line. They didn't put the right refrigerant line on this. The disconnect is over to the side. It looks fine. Looks like it was replaced with the unit. But the disconnect should be sealed, okay, to help prevent moisture infiltration into the system. I'll put the cover back on here in a little bit. Moving on along, still not okay. We got a little more movement. This is the master bedroom window. This is the west wall, right between the soldier bricks, right there at the window lintel. We got some movement, some cracking. We got some cracking inside the window frame, between the window frame and the brickwork. And none of these windows, none of these fenestrations, they do not have weep holes above them. So far, I haven't seen an expansion control joint, okay? Not to have expansion control joints, to have this little amount of movements, it's pretty incredible on a house this size and age. There's rust coming out of this. I don't know if that's from a rusty water heater or if that's a secondary drain line for an air conditioner. If it's a secondary drain line for an air conditioner, it's supposed to be in an obvious location. And if it's for the water heater, then it's, again, too high from the ground. We'll find out more about that. Now, this is the second place that I've seen this so far. There might be more, but outside of some of these soffit vents, let's just zoom in here. Outside of some of these soffit vents, that's an extension cord, probably for Christmas lights. Who knows, okay? But somebody's horsed, and you should not use an extension cord in a permanent application. You should not route an extension cord through a wall. So that's the improper installation right there. Moving on along to the patio. I haven't checked the GFCI there. This deck, okay, that's wood to ground contact. That's conducive to wood destroying insects. And this deck is underneath the eave of the house, underneath the soffit of the house. This has insufficient ventilation, and they've gone and they've painted this deck. And if this wasn't a special paint specifically for decks, if this is just a conventional paint, what you've done is you've encapsulated this wood so that it doesn't breathe. And by encapsulating this wood, that means all the moisture in the ground is coming up. It's like an atrium. It's like taking a jar and turning it upside down and putting it on the ground. And all the moisture that forms inside that jar is forming on the bottom side of this deck. And it's going to cause this deck to rot prematurely. Some of these patio fan blades, these paddles are drooping a little bit. Coming along here. That looks like a fireplace fresh air vent. That's what that looks like to me. And they're not supposed to be higher than the firebox. So if that's what it is, that's what I think it is, then that's too high. We got just a little more movement right here. Okay, between the brick and mortar. This is the master bedroom patio door. Coming along here, we got some typical movement. These little cracks. Okay, that's typical. Cement does two things. It gets hard and cracks. Haha. Builders will tell you that joke all the time. And the funniest part about that joke is it's true. Because it is a builder. No offense to builders. All this bush, all this foliage next to the house, all that should have been cut back. All that should have been cut off. This is a water heater, and I think we have 2 water heaters in this house, so this is the second one. That tells me that PVC that we saw over on the west side of the house was probably a secondary drain line, but that water heater drain line is too high. The foliage too close to the house, too close to the house, too close to the house. Got that, got that, got that. This is the septic system. Okay, the warning notice does not work on the septic system. This is the disconnect. It's over to the side. That's a good thing. It should have been sealed. And this unit right here, he's 22 years old. 22 years old and R22. So it'd be prudent to budget for a replacement for him. He's done just about everything he's supposed to do. Now we're going to find out if it works or not. Now this is where the gas enters the house. This is on the north side of the den over here. And this is a propane system. And it being a propane system, copper tubing is allowed. It is permissible. Okay? This is your propane tank over here. And copper, again, copper is allowed. It is permissible. Moving on along, moving on along. Another one of those extension cords coming through the soffit. Moving on along, we're just about where we started. I wanted to have more to say about the breaker boxes, but I didn't have it open. I wasn't prepared for that. Well, let's just move on through here. We're going to get one of these out of the way. I know there's a water heater here. Okay, this is a Bradford White. I'm not sure what the age of this water heater is because they're coated. It's 50 gallons and the serial number is N. So I'm going to have to look up N and find out what the serial number is on that, and I'll tell you the age. Okay, the lines to the water heater, this is a gas one. The lines to the water heater should have been insulated. The T&P valve should have been insulated. It's off the floor like the one in the guest house isn't. These are not. This is white tape. It should have been a yellow tape, or it should have been pipe dope. Probably never have a problem with it. It's a dip tube, electronic ignition. We do not have an expansion tank. So far I haven't seen an expansion tank. The water pressure of the house is over 100 psi, so it would be nice if we had an expansion tank. This is a safety pan right here. It discharges directly onto the garage floor. It should discharge to the exterior. This is a whole house vacuum system. Okay, beyond the scope of this inspection. Beyond the scope. Alright. Let's see if they got a manual button. It comes on. It comes on alright. There's no GFCI in this closet. Let's see if there's any GFCI on the garage wall here. We're out in the country, so probably not. No GFCI in the garage. No GFCI in either of the garages. Okay. Tools. We've got that. Let's just move around here a little bit. Optic sensors are low enough. These doors, unlike the guest house, have pull handles inside of them. They have manual locks. They have emergency. I think they're bolted up pretty good. Let's move over here. These fluorescent lights in the garages. Okay, these fluorescent lights in the garages, they should have had protective prism covers on them. And this is the water pressure to the fire suppression system. These are the valves. We're inside the garage. South wall inside of the garage, we got 0 psi. The garage door, the attic, pull down attic access ladder. This door is not properly fire blocked, okay? Got a half-inch gypsum board, and then we just got this little bit of plywood right here. The whole idea about this ceiling being sealed off with gypsum board and the walls is so that we want to separate the living space from the garage space. We want to separate the garage space from the attic space. We want to separate the attic space from the living space, so that if we have a fire in any of these areas, ultimately we're protecting the living space. If we have a fire in this garage with this ladder, then this is a chimney, and it'll go straight up into the attic, and then it'll spread. I see an attic fan up there. We're going to talk about that.